With all the hype around the launch of Gran Turismo 7, this might be a good opportunity to take a look at this, the CSL DD Pro by Fanatec. This is a complete driving package that is officially supported by Gran Turismo 7 and PlayStation 5. So taking a look at the design, the first thing that will catch your attention is the wheel. But seriously though, this is not a great looking wheel. But despite that, it tends to be, I'd say, convenient. It has 5 easy to reach D-pads and pretty much all the buttons that you need to navigate the PlayStation menu. This wheel is designed by Polyphony. These are the guys that are responsible for DT7, and in terms of quality, it is made out of high quality plastic with rubber covering the whole circumference of the wheel. It doesn't feel flimsy, surprisingly. It actually feels quite well made. You know the PS5 controller? Yeah, this feels very similar to it in terms of quality. The size of this wheel falls a little bit on the smaller size, but it is perfectly fine to drive pretty much any type of vehicles. Now enough about the wheel, let's talk about the base. This is pretty much where most of the magic happens, and unlike other wheelbases from Logitech or Thrustmasters, this is a direct drive wheel, which means that there is no belts or cogs that is used to transfer the feedback. It is just you fighting and feeling the resistance directly from the motor itself. This type of system is usually extremely expensive, so it is nice to see this technology trickling down to much affordable products. Now, before we dive in deeper, let's take a look at the installation process. The base is installed using these T-slot nuts, and it is very easy and straightforward to install. Right after screwing this in, you can just slide the wheelbase right in and that's it. And if you wanted to mount it to your desk, they did include the mounting clamp and the bracket, so that is also not an issue. Well, now let's get back to all the hype around direct drive wheels. To put it in simple terms, direct drive wheel is very detailed compared to other systems. It allows you to feel the road even better, which adds in the immersion and ultimately making it an extremely close experience to driving a real car. In fact, with the right software, you can legit improve your real-life driving skills. If you have tried some of the professional sim racing softwares like Assetto Corsa or iRacing, you'll know what I mean. And you'll also know how challenging it is to drive in those softwares. But the good thing is, you don't have to be a professional racer to enjoy this wheel. And here is where the Gran Turismo 7 comes into play. The GT7 really focuses on finding the right balance between realism and fun factor. And with a wheel like this, I feel like they have absolutely nailed it. It is easy enough that beginners can enjoy without getting frustrated, and it is also realistic enough that you can actually learn some fundamental driving skills. This wheel can beautifully simulate different type of vehicles that is available in GT7, and with the optional boost kit, you can bump up the peak torque of this base from 5 Nm of torque to 8 Nm of torque.
And I honestly think you should get the boost kit to really feel the potential of this wheel. With all this torque and power, you can actually feel the difference between each car become much more prominent. Like for example, in a GT car, the steering is extremely responsive due to its hard racing suspension. But when you're driving a normal road car with softer springs, you can actually feel that it is a bit lazy to the corners. It actually translates really well from the steering to your hands. I'm really impressed on how the GT7 is handling force feedback right now. It is just quite amazing what a PS5 and a Fanatec racing wheel could do.
In this bundle, you'll get the wheel, the pedals, and the wheelbase itself, but you can also get them in different bundles if you want. At the back of the wheelbase, you'll find the RJ12 connections for all your peripherals like gear, handbrake, pedals, etc. And below that, there is a standard 4-pin power connector and surprisingly a USB-C port for data. And I also love how versatile this ecosystem is. Besides the swappable wheel and pedals, you can even replace the steering mount, which will allow you to upgrade to the upcoming QR2 steering wheels. Now let's move on to the pedals. They really feel sturdy due to its high quality build, but the brakes fall on the softer side. But again, they still get the job done. With enough practice, I think you can be pretty consistent. But I would highly suggest the upgraded load cell kit if you want an easier time trail braking. Again, if you feel like you want more, you can always upgrade to the Club Sport V3 pedals. This setup is not just compatible with PS5, it is also compatible with PlayStation 4 and PC.
And speaking of PC, I've been testing this in Assetto Corsa, as you can see, and of course the force feedback is much more detailed compared to what is offered in the GT7 and PS5. The road textures communicates extremely well through the steering wheel, and honestly it is such an uncanny experience how close this is to driving a real car. But all of this is not that surprising because after all this is still a hardcore sim racing software.
But what is surprising though is how this wheel performed in GT7. Honestly, it has exceeded my expectations. In my opinion, this is the right step towards bringing sim racing to the masses, and I can't wait to see what they have for us in the future. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.